Keeley Bunker. A hard-working and bright individual who had worked her way through the obstacles of life to get a degree and to become a teacher. On the day of the horrific attack, she was supposed to attend an interview for an assistant teacher role, but that promising life was cut short by someone she knew from a young age. Wesley Street. Keeley and Wesley knew each other since they were in infant school. Even though they were not particularly best friends, they remained fairly close as they had maintained their friendship for many years. This being the reason Keeley invited him to her 20th birthday celebration. September 18, 2019. The plan of the night was to go to a concert and see the rapper, H, followed by a night out in town. She was very excited and, 2 days before, she tweeted saying, "The only thing keeping me going is seeing H on Wednesday, hopefully he'll see me and we'll get married." On the day of the event, Keeley and her best friend, Monique Riggin, met Wesley at the New Street station in Birmingham and headed to the concert. Later, the trio headed to a nightclub where they partied until shortly after 2:30 a.m. They then got a taxi back to Tamworth where they lived. Keeley's house was a walking distance from where they landed, and Monique asked her to stay the night as she was worried about her safety and how late it was. But she didn't want to miss her job interview the next day and said she's got Wes who will walk with her on her way back and she will be fine. That was the last time Monique saw her. The next day, she didn't arrive to her interview. Friends and family made many attempts in contacting her, but there was no response. Around 5:30 that evening, her father filed a missing person report, and after reaching out to friends, police were quick to realize Wesley was the last person to see her. He was quickly taken in for questioning. Wesley claimed to have parted ways with Keeley at a telephone path and left her to walk the rest of the path alone. As part of the investigation, officers told him to take them to the exact location, and he pointed out and showed them the rough route they took. They thanked him for his help and let him go.
Told by our bosses that we need to take us on the scene, where it's gone, the route. So have a drive of the route, and we are literally just following those instructions. And I know you've got a lot of questions, and I know your parents have probably got a lot of questions, but
9 p.m., Keeley's uncle, Jason Brown, who was part of the search party, discovered her body submerged in a pond in Wigginton Park in Tamworth. Her clothes had been removed and there were marks on her neck indicating she had been strangled. A truly horrific sight. Wesley immediately became prime suspect.
No one's blaming you.
You said when I was at the house that all I needed to do was speak to the officer, and then I can go and look for Keeley, and then you take my phone off.
But as my colleague said, at the minute, there's a lot of people involved in what's happening, of which we're PCs, and there are people who are a lot higher up than us who are making decisions.
Yeah. I don't. Because now, when you say you're going to take my phone, now I feel like you're blaming me.
No, we haven't blamed, mate. We haven't once since we've been sat in this car. I think your dad can vouch. We haven't once blamed you for anything. All we've done, we've been told by
them. And they understand that it's scary. Okay.
Yeah. I just don't want them to laugh if they go through my Google.
No, they're not worried about.
Yeah, no, don't worry
about it. It's the girl, Wes.
Yeah.
But Wes, all we're going to look for on your phone is going to be things that relate to you and her, right? We don't care about your Google. Yeah. We're not allowed to look for stuff like that because ultimately we don't need to, do we? Because it has to be transparent, mate. That's all it is.
But
all right.
He doesn't understand.
Oh, sorry.
You're not allergic to anything, and you haven't got any dietary needs or religious needs, and there's nothing else that I need to know about that might affect you while you're here. Would you say that's accurate?
Can we change it?
Which one?
Where it says dinner. It's a bit sad.
A bit sad. Okay, that's
I
not a
wouldn't
problem.
even say a bit sad. I'd just say sad.
Sad. Okay. Change that for you. Ask you now if you would, which is sign your name between those two yellow lines there. Say you've answered those questions.
Wesley stuck to his story, that he left Keeley alive at the phone box and the pair parted ways. However, through investigations they found his phone GPS showed he went to the murder location 7 times that day and continued to claim his innocence. CCTV footage showed him and Keeley near the Tamworth Rugby Club later than the time he stated he had left her. His jacket and bank card were found in the park. From the post-mortem examination, they identified Wesley's DNA. Following this discovery, he was charged with the sexual assault and murder of Keeley Bunker. To begin with, at the trial he kept claiming his innocence and said he was so drunk he messed up his account of the night's events. Shockingly, later into the trial, he claimed to have accidentally killed her during consensual sex. He said she had flirted and teased him as they walked home and ended up in the park. But before that confession he stated they were just childhood friends and never entertained any idea of a romantic relationship. So it became clear he was altering his statement to align with the evidence presented. He went on to describe why the evidence of his GPS location showed him returning to the murder spot numerous times. He said after he accidentally murdered her, he dumped the body in the pond and kept returning to the location to cover her with branches. When asked why he didn't tell the truth when asked by police and relatives, he said he didn't know how to act or explain to others how she died because he felt embarrassed and scared. However, from all the evidence gathered by the prosecution, it showed on their walk home Wesley persuaded Keeley to go towards the rugby club, which is located close to the park, on the impression of going for a smoke. On the way to the park he forced himself on her and held her in a chokehold whilst she was fighting back. After he had killed her, he took her to the pond and covered her up with branches and went home. The evidence present was enough to find him guilty. But before the sentencing date, a sinister piece of evidence came to light. Due to the severity of this case, the media were quick to post and write articles on details of the trial, which triggered reactions from women who had been previous victims of Wesley. In court, Wesley had presented himself as a young man who made a terrible mistake. His father mentioned he was autistic and needed help understanding the trial procedure. However, 3 women who had been victims of SA by him came forward and withdrew any ounce of innocence left. 2015, Wesley SA'd a 16-year-old. 2017, his victim was a 15-year-old girl. And just a few months before this horrific case, was another 20-year-old girl. Even though investigations show there was a chance of more victims, those 3 were the only ones courageous enough to come forward. In impact statements, one of the victims of Street's previous attacks told the court she thought what he had done to her was going to destroy her, but she didn't allow it to. Another said, "After Wesley attacked me, I was scared to tell anyone." However, looking back, if something made you physically sick in your stomach, it is definitely not okay. A third survivor described how she had blamed herself for the rape, because she had gone to Street's house and kissed him. She went on to say, "It wasn't until I heard the sad news concerning Keeley that I found the courage to tell someone. It was at that point that I felt the full force of what happened to me, but by that time I had already dealt with my grief in what I feel was a bad way." Sentencing Street. The judge said, "It is clear that not only was she loved by so many but that Keeley was one of the kindest, most caring of individuals. Moreover, not only has she lost the opportunity of fulfilling her life ambition, helping to educate young children, her family have lost the company of their beloved daughter, sister and niece."
What follows is the family statement from all of the family and friends of Keeley Bunker. Keeley Bunker, our Keeley Bunks, was the kindest, most beautiful young lady that you could ever wish to meet. Keeley was compassionate, loving, caring, and would put others before herself, always. Keeley loved everyone unconditionally, and nothing was ever too much trouble. She had many friends. She didn't realise just how many she had. We know that she was loved by all. We could never have wished for any more from Keeley. She was perfect in every way. Her life was taken away so cruelly and far too soon. Keeley had many dreams that have now all been stolen from both her and from us, her family and friends. We will not see Keeley marry, go on to have children, enjoy any holidays or her work. The world was hers and Keeley was just beginning to live a happy life. As Keeley's family, the outcome of this trial will never be enough in terms of justice. It will never bring our Keeley back to us. We miss her so much and no words can ever express the heartache that we feel. Never ever will we forget the precious years that we had with our Keeley, together with all of the memories that we will always hold dear. We love you, Keeley.